Hello everyone, today we got to play Villagers. So this is one that we've played before, kind of forgotten about, and then due to something, an episode coming up, we were like, hey, wait a second, I remember this game, I like this game, let's play it again. So...
And do a review.
And do a review, because that's kind of what we do now. So this is a tableau building, there's a little bit of drafting in it, game, right? But before we get into this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because it's fun. And
it's fun to hit the button?
It's fun to hang out with us.
Well, it's fun to hang out with us, but yeah, but the button's not real exciting.
Well, if you have like really bad depth perception, you're like, you know, it could
it's
be like a game.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I actually don't have depth perception. You realize that, right?
I hit something.
Oh my
Quit
God.
poking me.
That explains so much.
It's a bell of some sort.
That's not what I was thinking you were talking about.
Okay.
All right. Robert, tell us more about this game before we go
Villagers.
any further down the hole.
Board Game Geek rating of 7.3. Plays 1 to 5. Designed and art by the same person, Hakan Garber. MSRP is actually it's a pretty cheap game. Its MSRP is only $26, but good luck finding a copy. Out of print, I saw one on Amazon for $69. A little bit cheaper on eBay, excuse me, for $45. But on Geek Market, they didn't have anything local. It was all international, so they've been probably outrageous.
And this was the Kickstarter version, which came with these wooden pieces, which the only one we know how to use is the chicken.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've got a windmill, a little silver building, and a gold one, which presumably might be the markets. I don't know, but I don't know what the windmill is.
The expansion, I think, is still currently available on Kickstarter, and so you can Kickstart it and get the original plus the expansion.
Okay. Yeah, the expansion. Yeah, I don't think I backed it. I need to if I didn't.
I think it still has.
I think you do a light perk. Oh, yeah. You can still up.
I think so.
Okay, I might have to go back it.
Well then, that's good to know.
Yeah. So what's next, Miranda?
All right, so let's talk about game pieces. All right, so obviously this is mostly a card game, so that's the biggest pieces. They do have slight linen finish. They're okay quality. They're nothing.
They're not super thick, but the finish does add some.
Yeah, the linen finish is okay, but they're pretty. Yeah, they are pretty thin, and they. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like the back is actually finished more than the front, which is kind of odd. I guess it does have a finish. It's just very fine.
Now, see, I think it's the other way around. The one side feels smoother than the other.
Yeah, the front feels smoother. That's what I'm saying.
I would think that's the
so then we also have the expansion tokens. And then the organization factor. So this particular, when we talk about card games, it's really now, there's also an organization kind of requirement when we talk about game quality.
Thanks to Upper Deck ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, so actually, so the dividers in this, they do have dividers, the cards fit well.
Yeah, there's some actually expansion stuff in here already we've played with, so we'll have to play with it sometime.
Dark Mood.
Yeah, so, and then these are what the dividers look at. I think these are
I'll just hold the cards then, shall I?
Well, I was wondering what you're doing over there.
I'm holding it. I was looking through this. There's expansion stuff, and you just yanked this stuff out. Now you gotta make sure you hold them in place.
Okay.
The coins are really awful. They're cardboard coins.
They're awful to read.
They're just very basic.
Standard. But...
They're standard. I mean, well, their text is... And they're not even circled right. Okay.
Yeah, they're not the greatest. but still, if you snob Randy, automatically cardboard.
Yeah, so I started getting about it. I'm like, what am I doing? And I got my coins out.
I mean, those coins were off-centered. And there wasn't no fancy writing. They were just basic writing, 50. So really, okay. So overall, though, quality, I'd probably give this a 5.5 with the expansion.
I mean, if it weren't for the storage, I'd probably do that. The storage container is pretty nice.
Oh, it is. That's true. I'm
probably more of a 6.5 because of the storage mechanism and the dividers. And
all right, I'll go to a 6.5.
And it's got these wooden pieces that have no purpose that we found so far.
I think 6.5 is a good score.
6.5. I'm fine with that now. Yeah. I forgot about the organization bit. All right, so going on to theme. So theme-wise is you have a village. You start out with just your founders. Hence the name. And you slowly assign people workers, and as you assign people workers, they start producing either build actions or buy actions. And then also...
what workers are you assigning?
Well,
them down.
Oh, you're talking about building more peoples.
Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially the theme is you're creating a little village, and you may not have all the jobs. Your opponents, you may have to go to a different village to use their resources as well. So overall, I think it's a cute little theme. I like it. So I'm probably okay with the 6 on this. It's not heavy, but I think it's there, and it's light.
I think thematically it kind of fits a little bit more in that, because the idea is that you have to have this person to be able to do this thing.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it all links. It's a little bit of an engine building element to it as well. And the fact that if you don't have it and someone else does, you have to pay them. Like, you hire a contractor.
Yeah.
And so then that way you could still do that, hire this next person to do this thing. And so I think I'm a little bit higher. I think I'll go to a 7.
Okay. What about you?
Well, I mean, I think, touching on what Rob just said, is that when you pay them, you don't just pay them. You pay them an income.
Yeah.
So they become, basically, they become, I guess, your, employees, because they're making money off of you every round from that point forward. Now, there's only 2 rounds, so it's not like there's two paying rounds, I should say.
Right.
So you're not going to make a huge profit off the other players doing it, but it's still pretty nice to have that income source. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's heavy in theme by any means. Of
course not. But I think
the art is cute. I mean, it's not great art, but it's cute. The eyes on the people some of them are kind of disturbing. Like the eyes are, well, it's like, especially like this person, the jeweler is looking down, but her eyes still look like they're staring at you.
It feels like they're looking in my soul.
Yeah, I mean, the art on this is okay.
I like the art. I really do. I mean, some of it is odd, but overall, I like it.
But yeah, I can't see giving this more than a 6 as far as theme. It just doesn't exude theme by any means. It's kind of, I mean, it is an engine builder. You're building a village.
I think for me, the reason why I'm 7 because the mechanics fit the theme.
Yeah,
and
I do agree with that.
And it pushes that.
Yeah, I do absolutely agree that the mechanics do push the theme. My concern is just all the other elements of the theme are kind of not there.
I get it.
It's very generic village. I mean,
yeah.
This is like the village of Dominion.
All right, so moving on to rules. This game is actually a fairly straightforward game.
I thought so, but it felt like when Randy was reading the rule book, it felt a little bit harder to understand. It was a lot easier once we got into playing. It just all clicked.
I mean, it's pretty simple to play. It is written a bit awkwardly. There's a lot of examples in here. The one thing is I've got some expansion cards in there, but I don't see the expansion rules in here. There's a solo play.
Maybe that's what you're saying in there.
Switching from summer to winter events. Maybe it's all solo play. Maybe maybe it's not really expansions. Maybe it's the solo play cards, because I don't care about solo because I never play solo. But I'm sure some of our viewers do, and this does have a solo mode, and it looks like it's pretty well fleshed out because it's about half the book. Well, not half.
You'll have to learn it.
I'll have to try it out in solo and see what it's like.
Yeah, so maybe all those cards that are remaining are for the solo mode then, because there's no mention of any expansions in here.
Okay.
Rate it though.
It has a summary on the back, which is nice.
And you got individual cheat sheets,
and you got cheat sheet cards, which help. I mean,
it helps initially, and then once you get it, you really don't need it. But.
Yeah, I mean, the play of it we'll go over in the overview, or in the gameplay section. But I'd say this is probably a 7 as far as the book. I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't have any mistakes or missing items. It's just. It's very thin, which is good. I mean, it's convenient because this is a very portable game. So
I didn't even think about that, but one of our future topics is travel games, and it'd probably been a good one for me.
It's on the canvas.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Okay.
So I didn't think of it.
All right, so let's talk about gameplay. So this is actually a very straightforward game. You have the, hiring market. And you draft that. So whoever takes the first player, depending on how many food icons that you have, you always get at least 2, and whatever food icon you have, it increases it by 1 with a max of 5. So, but you draft 1, and then it goes around the table. You keep drafting until everyone is out of draft actions. And then it goes to the build phase. You do it so the first player builds all of their buildings, and again, you know that you get 2 builds, and then for every house icon you have, you get an additional build, max to 5. And you keep building your tableau. Now, there is another option when you're building. You can discard a card and gain a...
it's one of the starter cards.
Starter cards.
So they have lumberjacks,
miners,
hayers, and miners.
Yeah.
Hair.
And those are required for some of those basic level occupations that you're going to end up playing. So at some point you are going to have to do that to really move forward. But other than that, you just keep going. Halfway through the round, you have halfway through the different rounds, there's a scoring round, which is triggered by when a card pops up after flipping them over. Then all of the gold coins that are visible, those get counted. You get the money from those, and then you do it again at the very end of the game. And obviously, the person with the most gold wins, or victory points wins the game. So overall, that's pretty cool. One thing is you'll notice on these cards there is a lock mechanism. That lock means that another occupation is required for that card to be played. You either have to play 2 money to the bank or 2 money to the person. Whatever player has that occupation. You can pay 2 money to yourself. So if you have that occupation,
Oh, you don't pay it to the person. You pay it to the card.
Pay it to the card.
It becomes income for that person.
Correct, which is what you have already talked about briefly. And then there's also levels. So for example, for the jeweler, you first have to build the miner, then the seeker, then the sublunker, and then the jeweler. Okay, so you have to go in that order as you build. So so there is an order of operations.
Yeah. And those are required. You can't pay someone to do that, which I made that mistake.
And when you build one, you lose whatever is underneath on
you basically would stack the card, so you'd lose the ability underneath the other card to build the next card.
So basically it's an occupation line.
But
it's your career path. They're just becoming, they're becoming more advanced.
It's career development, and
so exactly.
You're breaking the glass ceiling. So.
Exactly. They're really trying to make some money. Okay, so
after jeweler, do they go on to like the pawn shops, or do they go on to like the
TV
they're done.
No, that's when they travel to other countries to get the
Antwerp, Belgium.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So overall, though, I think this game is actually a lot of fun. It has an engine building mechanism that I truly, really appreciate. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward and easy to pick up and learn. But in that same breath, it's got it's a little meaty. I mean, it's still light and easy to play, but yet there is some strategy to it. Especially if you start to consideration, what are they building over there, and how do I make sure to draft the cards that they need?
Right.
Even I can use them to discard, but maybe I don't want them to have that card this round. Or hey, you know what? She's built the carpenter, and I'm going to build it, so I don't have to paying her, or I don't want So or I may draft the carpenter twice so that people have to use my carpenter. So there's things that you can do that kind of make the game play a little more strategy.
And there's special cards too that can even add in subtle. It's nothing brutal, but it's even got more subtle strategy. Like I've got 2 cards called Apprentice, where I could go from a card that's buried, take it from someone, give them the Apprentice, so then I can build off of it. And so, but also there was some elements where if I could take a card, maybe they can't score off of it because I took it. And so, I mean, it's not a lot, and it's not hugely detrimental to your game, but it can affect it a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a good amount of player interaction, I think, because I get to still do my own thing, but there's a little bit of action you can do with the drafting and so forth. Overall, I actually really enjoyed this game. I'm probably going to give this, debating either a 7.5 or an 8. I really like this game. It's good for an easy, quick, and it's compact. There's some high travelability with this. I enjoy it. What do you think?
I'm probably right there. I'm probably at about a 7 to 7.5. I think it's a good game for a small box game. I'm not a big small box game fan, as I've said many times. But this one is, more meaty than a lot of them. I mean, I think this and Targi are the only 2 that I've played that are small box that are actually have any kind of depth that I felt like in the gameplay.
I thought you liked the Yokohama duel when we did it.
It wasn't that small.
Yes,
it's bigger than this.
Not much bigger. because it's real thin but wide. It's still a pretty small box.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
it was okay. But yeah, I don't think there's too many small box games out there that I find to be meaty. So yeah, I mean, this is a good one if you are traveling to throw into your bag, and it does have a little more depth now. With the expansion, I don't know how much more bulky it's going to make.
Yeah, but there still looks like quite a bit of room in the main box. So
yeah, I mean, I liked it enough that I backed Streets, which is the sequel to this. The one's coming out next, and then now I guess I'm going to back the expansion for Villagers too.
I'm glad you realized that.
Well, you can back it so it doesn't come out of my monies.
Why would I do that?
Randy will be backing it.
So I'll be backing it.
So.
I
think I'm a 7.5. I think it's got enough meat to where it's a good game. I definitely would like to play it some more, but it's a good filler.
Yeah, it definitely has its time and a place. So, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had a blast today, and hopefully we'll catch you some other time. Bye. Bye.